welcome to Soul Symbols. My name is Shelley. I'm a writer, an astrologer, and a card reader, and I'd like to welcome you to my channel. Happy Saturday. It is the weekly energy card reading. What that is you, the viewer, get to choose from one of three tarot decks, and what we'll do is we'll go ahead and do a quick 3-card spread to see what the general energies will be like for the next 7 days. It does not need to be the week of November 14th through the 21st. Hello, math. Yes, okay, that's right. It can be anytime you come across this video. If you are drawn to the video or drawn to the decks displayed, there may contain messages for you. I like to look at tarot as being dream interpretation. We just look at the symbols and see what they mean. If you feel like a message is not resonating, by all means, you do not need to take it. If it doesn't resonate, just leave it by the wayside. There could be another video that you like, or possibly another reader for that week. But either way, it's all in for entertainment purposes and definitely not to be taken seriously at all. But I do enjoy reading the cards. I feel like a great energy when we do the weekly energy card readings. And there's so much little nuance that can be derived from each of the readings. Today I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to clarify the reading using the Mixed Emotion cards by Petra Martin. And all of the timestamps, if you want to jump straight to the reading, all of the timestamps and the name of the authors of the decks and the publishers are listed in the description box below. Before we get started, this week we have several posts coming up on the channel. Yesterday I posted 2 videos. If you get a chance, if you're so inclined, if you want to check it out, it was very kind. I had someone post and say that they wanted to see a review of my card collection, like my deck collection. My deck collection's pretty big. I try not to even admit it to myself how many decks that I have, but of course you see all of the decks that I use in rotation here on the channel. I try to keep it in good rotation. But there are 2 videos. The reason that there are 2 videos is because the video that I posted yesterday is my tarot deck collection. I do have a total of 18 decks. The very first deck that I had gone into more detail about is my official Rider-Waite-Smith. And the reason that I posted a separate video about my Rider-Waite-Smith is because when you are reading tarot, if you're deciding to buy a deck for yourself or for someone else, choosing a good Rider-Waite-Smith is very, very challenging, and there's several reasons for that. There's a kind of a history to the deck and a history to why there are so many different variations. So if you have time and you want to research it that thoroughly, please check out the first video that talks about the history of the Rider-Waite-Smith, because I go into great detail as to the reasons why I chose the Rider-Waite-Smith that I use. And that is the Tarot of A.G. Waite, and it is produced by AGM Publishing Company. But I go into great detail. There's a lot of really juicy details to why I went with that deck, and there's a lot of mystery surrounding it. So if you're interested in learning something about author Edward Waite or Pamela Coleman Smith and her artwork and her contribution, their collaboration that created this wonderful deck, please check out that first video. The second video gets to the meat of everything, and that is the actual deck collection. It's a little bit long. It's about the same length of a How to Tarot video, but there are timestamps where if you want to just click on the timestamp and go straight to the tarot deck that you are interested in, please check it out. Both videos posted yesterday, and I did post alerts on both my Facebook and Instagram channels. So today, let's go ahead and get started. It is exciting. I'm glad to be doing the card reading. And actually, because I did the review of all of my tarot decks yesterday, I really wanted to show some decks that have not been used recently some love. And I think revisiting my tarot decks really brought that about. So we are going with 3 decks. I always try to keep them in good rotation. I'm pretty good about that. But so the first deck that we have here is the Linestrider Tarot by Thompson, and with it we have a beautiful blue fluorite. The lighting kind of doesn't do it justice. It's a very bright blue stone. And now the second deck we have is the Zillich Tarot, and it's published by U.S. Games, and it's a beautiful watercolor German deck. It's by a German artist, and with it we have a beautiful green fluorite. And then the last deck we have is the Art of Tarot by Liz Dean. It's a really beautiful. Now this deck is what we call a pip deck, which means that the minors, you know, like the 1 through 10, if it's the 10 of swords, you just see 10 swords. But the majors and the court cards all have illustrations. And then, but it's got a really beautiful multimedia kind of feel to it. And with it we have a cherry volcanic quartz. And again, we will be clarifying with the Mixed Emotion cards by Petra Martin. These are a really beautiful deck that talks about, this deck is actually good, really good for using for psychological work. And just to clarify, I am going to be posting a series of videos that talk about my oracle decks. I just have quite a lot of them, so I can't do it all in one video. And I'm going to break those videos up into subjects. So there is going to be like a psychology and self-help oracle video that talks about all the oracle decks I use for that purpose, and that this deck will be part of that. But we're using it to clarify today. But I will give you a minute to go ahead and decide if you like the artwork, if you like the stone. If you need more time, please pause the video, and I'll see you in a minute. Okay, we're back. Let me go ahead and we'll move the other decks up. Ooh, it is nice. You know, it's funny to change gears. You know, this week we've done How to Tarot, and we have done kind of deck collection reviews. So it feels, let's see what it's saying in 5 of Swords. Oh gosh. All right. So let's go ahead and see. I'm just going to give it a quick shuffle. Deck number 1. What is your energy for the week? What's deck number 1's energy for the week, please? Please tell me. Oh, thank you. Wow. Middle of the week energy, please. And end of the week energy, please. Oh my gosh. Wow. We got quite a lot of strong energy here going on here, guys. Two of Wands. Yeah, definitely. We got 3 majors. What's our theme for the week, please, or advice? Oh, guys, okay. Now, first off, anytime you see majors come up in a read, those are major life events, but it doesn't mean that a major life event is just going to come out of the blue in the beginning of your week. It's not going to hit you in the head on a Monday or anything. You know, and again, this energy kind of starts on or around Sunday. And these 2 cards very explicitly fell out underneath your Wheel of Fortune here. So I do get the sense, now I'm going to start with your oracle cards. Normally I would end with it, but you got peaceful and you got depressed. And what's really speaking to me is how there's a swirl here, and the Wheel of Fortune turns. The Wheel of Fortune turns. So what I'm kind of getting here, guys, is that I get a sense that you feel like changes are happening, but I feel like you're in kind of a detached kind of feeling from it. Like you're just, it's almost like you're waiting for things to get better. You're hoping for things to get better. The other thing that I kind of see is that if you are dealing with someone or talking to someone that's been a little bit quiet, what I really get a sense that this is more your energy, but if you are talking to someone, what's happening is life is changing right now. Right now we're in a very big time of transition. I think as a nation, as a globe, as a world, you know, I've spoken before, just to put the astrology hat on. By New Year's Eve of 2020, you know, and 2020 has been a pretty tough year. The Saturn is going to be going into the sign of Aquarius, and then there's been a lot of planets that have been moving backwards, like retrograde. The other thing is that we have Libra in its ruling sign we have Venus in its ruling sign of Libra, at 15 degrees, and then you have Mars in its ruling sign of Aries also at 15 degrees, but it's moving backwards, it's retrograde. So it's the Mars energy is a little bit repressed. So what you see is you see a real feminine energy and a real masculine energy, and then you have Saturn, which is kind of a taskmaster planet about to move into a really new aged community, higher learning kind of sign. But what I'm getting is that I am getting that that these changes, it's almost like in the beginning of the week, I feel like you're getting signs that, the times are changing. There's an old 80s song that has, at the beginning of the song, it's called Winds of Change. Winds of Change. It's by the Scorpions, I think. And the beginning of the song is this really beautiful reprise of whistling. And I can't whistle, so I'm not even going to try. But if you get a chance, check out that song. But it's almost like that. And what it is I feel like the beginning of the week, it's almost like you feel like you're an observer. And you see how this person's observing the boat. One other thing that I'm kind of getting is, wow, guys, I almost get a sense that you're watching the change, but you're not participating in it. And it's making you feel a little bit depressed. I get the sense that there's positive change occurring, but it's almost like you want to be a part of it, but instead you're just going to let it sail away. There's something peaceful in not trying to chase after. There's something peaceful in not chasing after something. Either that, or you feel like, one other way I can interpret this is that you're waiting for positive change. You're waiting for positive change. It's almost like you're waiting for that boat to come get you, but it's almost like you're watching something occur. You're watching some kind of change occur, and it's almost kind of depressing you a little bit because it's the more peaceful route. Like, it's almost like you can't do anything about it. Like, you feel prevented from participating in it. Either that, or if you try to chase after that boat, even though if you want to chase after that boat, if you tried, it would cause conflict. It would cause conflict. So you stay on shore, right? You stay on shore to maintain the peace. But you see a progression here. At the beginning of the week, you feel like, I feel like you're observing change. I'm getting the spin of the wheel here, guys. This is the one constant. There's a turn of the wheel, a turn of a spiral, a turn of the water. And that turn of the water is carrying that boat away from the person who's watching from the shore. That's some very interesting energy, guys. I definitely would say, kind of watch your emotions at that. I don't, the universe is never meant to make you feel like you're missing out on something. Right? You're not meant to feel like you're missing out on something. Either that, or you just feel like, the one other thing that I get is like it's almost like you want to take action, but you're not sure if it's the action to take. So you're waiting. It's almost like you're kind of waiting for fate to give you a sign. But this is definitely a turn of fate, and with it being in the upright, it means good things are coming. It means good things are coming. I do get a sense that you're centered. It's really, this is a little bit of parallel energy, guys. It's almost like you feel peaceful and you feel centered, but you almost feel like you don't know what this turn of fate is going to bring. So the other thing I kind of get is that I do think that this depression's going to lift. I think I think the beginning of the week is really going to emphasize that you're in an in-between state. You're in an in-between state. I don't think that you have to take action, because the tide is pushing this boat on its own, right? The winds of change are blowing. You really don't have to take action, but it's almost like you're seeing it. The other thing I get is that you're kind of seeing these changes and you think that it's not going to bring anything good for you, but it is going to bring something good for you. Now, by the middle of the week, you've got some really interesting energy here, guys. you've got the Nine of Wands, you've got the Page of Pentacles, you got Judgment, and you got the Four of Wands. Now, quite honestly, this could be something household related. It could be that you're dealing with someone who's kind of, there might be a final, you might be approached by someone with a gift, with a small gift, but this person's going to be very defensive about it. It's almost like someone is being called to approach you. And with the Four of Wands, it is almost like you're going to know. I think this could be a spouse, or it could be a girlfriend or boyfriend. It could be a love interest. But this person wants to approach you. This person is called to approach you. And it's almost like you're going to sense when they're nearby. You're going to sense, like, the Four of Wands is a real mirroring card. The other thing that I get here is that this could be some kind of, this could be something related to a home, or related to a partnership, that someone is called upon to give you money, but it's going to be a small amount. Like maybe, maybe if you cohabitate with someone and they owe you their part for the electric bill or something like that. But they're going to be drawn to pay you what is due, but it's almost like they're reluctant. The other thing that I can get is here, I'm getting a sense that this person has been through the war. They're on guard. This person is on guard, but they're being very called to approach you. The other thing that I kind of get is that if someone does approach you with some kind of either gift or some kind of money that they owe you, try to be receptive. What I always see is, anytime I see the Four of Wands, I always think of, if you've had kind of a falling out with someone where someone feels a little nervous around you, or they feel a little bit on guard, the best way to handle them is to mirror you see how the two rabbits there, they look like kind of the yin and yang. They're balancing each other out. Just remember, I would say, remember what you have in common. I'm getting a good vibe from this guy, guys. I feel like someone has been shy or has been afraid to approach you, but they're being really called to approach you, and they might have some kind of gift, something small. They have something that they want to give you. It doesn't necessarily have to be money, but it is something physical. Like a little something little. And this isn't just words or, a sign of affection. This is actually, you see that pentacle, holding a pentacle. Now, what I'm also kind of getting is that, but this person's going to be, this person's really going to be on guard. It's almost like they're afraid to approach you, but they have to. They're being called to approach you. But I think you're going to handle the situation marvelously. You're going to handle it perfectly. And you know how they always say that if you don't know how to respond to someone, just kind of mirror back what they say. That makes someone feel really comfortable. Like if someone comes up and says, "Hi," and you go, "Hey, how are you?" If they're receptive, you be receptive. And even if they seem a little nervous, try to be open and welcoming, and just try to keep it equal. There's also a saying where, if, try not to be imbalanced. I don't think you are. I think you're going to keep it. This image here says that once this person starts talking, they're going to feel less nervous, but you're going to really allow them to talk, and you're going to be kind of open and make them feel comfortable, because someone is going to approach you and they're going to feel a little bit out of their element. This is a major, what it is it's a major event, because this is something that's been a long time coming. The universe has been kind of nudging this person to approach you, but when they do approach you, it's almost going to be like, it's almost going to be like talking to your other half. It's going to be like, wow, where have you been? I've missed you, you know, how are you, you know? And that's going to help this person come out of their shell and feel more comfortable. But this person is nervous to approach you. They do have something to give you. And the universe is almost really nudging them. This has been a long, I'm getting a sense, I keep hearing long time coming, long time coming. This person might have held this for a while, and I'm not sure what that means. I'm kind of getting a separate energy from the beginning of the week. I almost get like your sense of purpose, your life mission is kind of the energy of the beginning of the week, and the middle of the week is somebody else. I get a sense that it's someone that you haven't spoken to in a long time. But the moment you get around each other, you feel like, you ever heard the expression, you get along like peas and carrots? You're going to feel like peas and carrots again. But I think it's also, but it is real important that you try to make this person feel comfortable, because they're nervous. They're very nervous. They're guarded. They're afraid that you're going to say something to them. But it's so cute the moment you start talking. It's like you're just, you know, it's like yin and yang, you know, which I keep saying yin and yang, like, you know, the other thing is that if somebody is coming, when someone approaches you, and then a yang energy is very masculine, it's very, it's assertive. And I don't mean that in a rough way, but the literal definition of that is taking action. When someone is being assertive and you are being receptive, you're not going to knock heads, because they're coming at you and you're leaning back. And you see that. What it does is it gets you rolling. It gets you in a cycle. It gets you in that cute little ball of, okay, you say something, I say something, you say something, I say something. But I am getting more of a sense that if you're a feminine watching this, I'm getting more of a masculine energy. You know, assign the genders as needed, you know, however it goes. Someone is going to be more of the initiator, and you are going to, you know, if you are the receptee of that initiation, then it's gonna result in a gift. Yeah. And again, it doesn't have to be physical. It might be something really small. You know, maybe, you know, I don't know, maybe somebody, you need a pen and someone hands you a pen. You know, it might be something as little as that. But it's going to mean a lot more than just something simple. There's a deep meaning behind it. Now, by the end of the week, you've got some interesting energy. Wow, guys. Now, if this is your energy, this could be related to this interaction in the middle of the week. The middle of the week is really quite pinnacle, but you do have three majors. You have three majors. Now, by the end of the week, you got the Emperor and you got the Two of Swords. And remember how we just talked about, yin and yang. This Emperor is very yang energy. He's very much in control. So I can kind of read this one of two ways. You're either dealing with the Emperor figure, like you're dealing with a masculine who's very much, who needs to be in control, who's very authoritative. He's not in the reverse, so I don't think he's being manipulative, but this is someone who doesn't like to feel like they're out of control. And with it being the Two of Swords, it's almost like you feel... what I'm almost kind of getting is I almost get that this person who's approaching you might really go back into their shell. This person needs things to be on their terms. And by the end of the week, it's like, you have this great balance in the middle of the week. And then by the end of the week, you're back to, no communication, them being real distant, because they need to feel safe by being in control. And that makes you feel like, it makes you feel blind. It makes you feel like, okay, now we're back to, we were making great progress, and boom, back to, okay, what are we doing? The other thing is that if this is your energy to just come out and say it, middle of the week, this is something I understand very, I do this all the time, so I totally empathize with you. Sometimes we can get into Emperor energy when we want to control the situation. We want a particular outcome. And what you want to do is you want to plan and strategize and say, okay, this is what we're going to do. But the thing is, the moment that you do that, the moment that you flip into that yang energy, you are being the initiator. And what it does is it takes away the control of the other person when you are the person trying to be in control. And it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. But it causes this gridlock, right? If one person is initiating and the other person's being receptive, there's a fluidity, right? There's a circle. But the moment that you have, and actually another reader here just talked about this recently and it was really insightful. If you have two people trying to initiate, then you're going to bump heads and then you end up in deadlock, right? And that's the other meaning of the Two of Swords. It means impasse. It means a standoff. And that's almost like what I'm seeing. It's almost like there was some kind of good start. Someone was kind of coming out of their shell a little bit. And then, like a turtle, whoop, right back into the shell. And then you start to get frustrated. This could potentially be someone who's approaching you and then disappearing and then approaching you and disappearing. And it's kind of screwing with you where you're like, look, if you're not going to take action, I'm going to take action for both of us. But then it further perpetrates the standoff, right? It further perpetrates, it's almost like a battle for control. Both people want control. But I am getting a strong sense that this person needs to feel safe. The way that they feel safe is by being in control. So if you're dealing with an emperor type, you do what being receptive. I'm not telling you to, it's definitely not advice that you should be a doormat and be yourself. What you believe in, what you want, speak up about what you want. But what I'm kind of getting here is that someone might start to open up to you, and you really have, you feel a good groove, you feel a good open, maybe you have a good conversation or something, and you're jiving, we're vibing, right? And then by the end of the week, it goes right back to that stalemate where that person, no, I got to be in control. I showed you my weak side. I'm not weak. I'm the emperor. And then, hello, right back to, no one talking, head over heart. But the other thing that I kind of sense is that maybe you're really watching this person go through gridlock, right? You had a great conversation and you were really opening up, and then they go right back into their shell and you see them struggle. Because the Two of Swords is also head over heart. It's like they're feeling something, but they won't take action because their head is telling them that it's wrong. The other thing is it could be someone else telling them that it's wrong. Maybe their social group, maybe their friends group. And this isn't to start a fight with their friends or their social group. Those are important people. They should be in the ear of this person. Their tribe. But so if this is your energy, you at the end of the week you might feel like, okay, I want to take control of this situation because this person keeps going in and out, and we have really good exchanges when they're in, but when they're out it's more of this BS kind of gridlock. The other way I read it is that this person is very defensive. This person feels really beat up. The other thing is that they might have reached out to you at a point of weakness, or what they deem as weakness. They had their shield down. Because they were feeling not quote unquote weak, they were feeling tired. So they were worn down, and they opened up to you because they were worn down, and then the next day they've got their strength back, and then it's back to the brick wall of them being kind of cold. And you can see that, right? The thing is, you can see that if it's your energy, what it's telling you is that you might want to release. By the end of the week, you're going to be back into that wanting to control the situation. Either that, or you might have had a good interaction, and then all of a sudden, by the end of the week, it's quiet, or you're confused, you don't know what to think, and you're really stuck between your heart and your head. It's like, okay, I have great interactions with this person, but then they turn around and treat me badly. What am I supposed to do? And then you get into your emperor energy where I'm not taking that shit, right? But the problem is that it rehashes this conflict between your head and your heart. But I do see that's going to be your energy at the end of the week. The emperor is not a bad energy, because the emperor is the man. He controls the situation. So, but the only reason that this looks like kind of a conflicting energy is because you want control of how this is going to end up, but it puts you into a head versus heart kind of gridlock. So, and you see this. It's almost like being. I almost feel like these two swords are the two swords of being peaceful or depressed. It could, you know what it is I'm almost hearing this conflict of like, okay, you know, not talking to this person, it you do feel a little bit sad, but it's peaceful. But then you talk to this person, you get all hyped up, and then later, you know, I would just say this. I would avoid any overly controlling kind of moves, both in yourself and this other person. If this other person seems like they're caught up, don't let them manipulate you. If this is your energy, if you're in gridlock, that's completely okay. You know, when you're feeling something strongly and thinking something strongly, getting those two energies on the same keel is a difficult balance. But you know, the emperor can handle that though. He's the king of kings. So he's the ruler of all kings. He embodies all four kings. So, but the only thing I can also say is that try to be a little bit flexible, because some of that need for control might be causing this deadlock, right? But that will be your energy at the end of the week and over the weekend. But the other thing is that I do think that probably what's going to happen is if you do have to go into an emperor energy, or if you're dealing with someone in that energy, they're not going to be listening to their heart. All three of these images, the bird and the two swords, are all mental. So I'm really surprised we don't see the Queen of Swords, King of Swords here. We got the Fool, we got the Lovers. Wow, the Fool and the Lovers. You know what it is that you're going to have, I'm going to go ahead and call it. If you're a woman watching this, you have a potential lover who has a very good interaction. They feel a connection to you. They feel like you're their counterpart, and by the end of the week, they're going to be really torn whether or not they want to take this further. But you're going to have a really good encounter with them. If this is your energy, you're going to feel like stuck, but you're going to be in charge. It's going to be your way of the highway, you know. But definitely try to be flexible where you can. I'm not saying compromise. Don't compromise. You know, stand up for your morals, but try not to control the outcome. In situations like this, when I see combinations like this, I like to kind of say a little prayer and just say, please let the best outcome come about for all persons involved, and then just let it go. And you can still be standing in your emperor power with that, because you are in control. No one ever takes your control away from you. That is always with you. But you don't have to, you know, if you start, say, okay, this situation must end this way, that's when that becomes a battle of both energies of the universe and energies within your own self. So wow, guys. Oh gosh. Wow, that was deep. That was deep. The other thing that I kind of get from this is that with the peaceful and the depressed, I think this might be a time of change for you, where sometimes when you are doing what I call the dance with depression, you know, getting out into nature, you know, just kind of back. And again, that is about not controlling. It's not controlling. Something about observing the way that the patterns of nature kind of makes you. It gives a solace to know that that everything does get taken care of. There's a pattern to life. You don't have to explicitly go in and make something happen. All right. So deck number 2, the Zillich Tarot with the green fluorite. What is the energy for your week? So deck number 2, what's the energy? Oh, came right out. Okay, middle of the week, please. Oh my gosh. You see this, right? End of the week. Oh, boom, boom, boom. Boom shakalaka. Knight of Swords, Knight of Discs. In this deck, the princesses are pages, the princes are knights, and the knights are kings. And queens are queens. So don't have to remember anything there. So what's... Oh, well that's clear. Okay, why are we frustrated? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get 3 cards for you. Also Desperate is trying to pop out. I love these cards because you don't even have to like do tarot if you just want like a deck. And again, I am going to be doing a video about self-help and psychology cards. So if you're interested in pulling cards just more for, personal analysis, this is a good deck for that. Beginning of the week, we got the Five of Wands, and you got strife. And what really strikes me about this card is, first off, all of the foliage looks really gray. And honestly, it's funny, if you're in North America, we're going through fall, and it's like, I just noticed today, it's been about a week since we've gone into daylight savings time, so the sun sets at 5 o'clock. And, what happens is I start to look at the trees, and the trees look really bare, right? They look bald. They look like sticks, right? Because we're getting into that phase, we're halfway through November. Pretty soon, we may or may not get snow, but either way, that you just see that real kind of gray and dark landscape that just kind of looks very stick-like. The other thing that really strikes me is the fact that this woman has wings, but it seems like she's too heavy to actually get off the ground. And it says strife. So I am definitely getting, the first thing that I'm hearing here, guys, is that I get the sense that you want to take off. It's like you want to fly, but you feel like you're too heavy. The other thing is, when I look at her feet, it looks like her feet are stuck in tar, right? And instead of arms, it looks like her wings look like either like a seagull, or like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a seagull or a pigeon. And I don't mean this in an insulting way, but those are the gray and the black. They're more of a domestic kind of bird, right? They're like a squirrel. You see them everywhere. It's not like a rare bird. So really what I'm getting from this, guys, is that I'm getting the sense that this might be work related. But I'm getting more of a sense, because it's wands, you feel like your spirit is, your spirit is kind of stuck in the mud. I'm getting a real stuck in the mud feeling. I have a feeling that things around you, there's just constant conflict. And this doesn't necessarily have to be work related. It can be family related. It can be home related. But basically, anytime I see the Five of Wands, I kind of think of those little petty conflicts, like, it's like almost like everywhere you turn. Whenever I see this card, I always think of that kind of like you get no peace. You get no peace. Maybe you go to work and everyone you talk to is in a bad mood. If you deal with clients, maybe everybody is being real mean to you today. Then you clock out, you come home, and then maybe your spouse is grumpy. You get a really sad phone call from your mom or your dad, and then your kids are being fussy. It's almost like you get no reprieve, right? The other thing that I get is with those I'm really seeing these wings where what I'm hearing and what I'm thinking is that I feel like it's almost like you're getting no reprieve. I think there is a lot of activity going on that's just irritating. Maybe people are being drama for no reason, and or there's a lot of conflict going on in your life, either at home or in work. And what it's doing is that it's making you feel like your feet are stuck in tar. And you want to fly away. And the other thing is that I'm getting kind of a little bit of a low self-esteem from this, guys. You're viewing yourself as if you were a seagull or a pigeon, right? Those gray wings, like you want to fly away, but you can't because your feet are stuck. I'm almost hearing the sense, and the only reason I keep thinking work, even though, well, we do have pentacles in the spread, so it could be work related, but it's almost like you don't feel like you're important. I'm getting a real sense like you feel like you're a peon or something. Like you all you want to do is fly away the way that other seagulls and other pelicans or other seagulls and other pigeons do. The other thing that I kind of get is that maybe maybe what you do is repetitive or aggravating, or you're having a little bit more of a, the other thing is, this is the beginning of the week. This is kind of Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So maybe if this is the more Monday energy, maybe you really are having a quote unquote Monday where, your inbox is blowing up, everybody's fussing at you, everyone's being grouchy. You're stomping fires everywhere you turn, and you feel like you're never going to have more than this. You know what I'm hearing, and I know it's crazy. You know that song in Beauty and the Beast where she sings about wanting more than this provincial life? You feel like you're always going to be a pigeon, and I'm hearing pigeon and peon. That's what I'm hearing. You're always going to be a peon. Why do I always have to be the poop shoveler? But you want to fly away, and you have wings. You have wings, but you feel like you're stuck in the mud. Now, this is just the energy at the beginning of the week, and energy changes. But and again, I would say that if you're in this energy, try to find those little things about your life that make it worthwhile. Because believe me, I know we all work jobs that get really tough. And what I always think is, that's almost a real sign. It's like a danger sign that you need a break. It's almost like, more like, maybe if it's been a while since you had a vacation, either that or some kind of major event is happening at work. Maybe you're getting a new computer system, or some kind of merger's coming up. You have to work on some kind of project that's due at the end of the week. Whatever it is. Maybe you've just been burning the midnight oil for so long, and you haven't had a break in a while. That will make you feel like a pigeon. That will make you feel like, okay, all I'm doing is scrounging for French fries. This is not living, right? But the other thing is, I've mentioned before, I love to scrapbook, and I know that's a real grandma thing, but you call it whatever you want. Travel journaling, they call it junk journals, just journaling, creating a book where you tape in, you draw, or you tape in pictures. I know magazines don't exist anymore, but what I love about documenting things is that it allows you to look back on it and celebrate what interests you have. It's almost like you're because truly, someday in the future, what was it? Susan B. Anthony had scrapbooks. What was it? The person who patented the term scrapbook was Mark Twain. He made a lot of money off scrapbooks. He created them. And what it is that, and I'm not saying that you have to pick up that hobby, but what I'm encouraging is, the beginning of the week, if you have a hobby, do that hobby, because you're going to be in a really gray, like, again, all this scene looks really gray. You feel stuck. You feel like you can't fly away. You feel like a pigeon. You're not a pigeon. Your work, no matter how small, contributes to a lot of people. And I think by the beginning of the week, you may want to do something that recognizes that. And I like to look back at old scrapbooks when I'm in a gray mood, because those are the moments in life that I think, I'm not talented, I've contributed nothing, all of this is just a waste of time. And then I look back at a happy moment and go, look, I've lived. You've lived, and what you do is a contribution. So do not, try to get yourself out of the gray colored glasses, especially at the beginning of the week. Middle of the week is quite interesting. You got the Knight of Discs. So that's the King of Pentacles. So this is quite a shift, guys. Now, by the middle of the week, you could either be dealing with a Knight of Pentacles, like a King of Pentacles, a King of Discs. So this might be, and this is quite interesting too. The other thing is that I've noticed that sometimes when you start getting into a blue phase, and just to put the astrologer hat on for a while, the moon, the cycles of the moon changes signs every 2.5 days. Now, if the sun in the sky is making squares to your chart, then you might be feeling pressure. Like, basically, what I'm trying to explain very inarticulately is that sometimes you can have like a good couple of days where you're just in a blue mood because of, if you believe in astrology, if you don't believe in astrology, you'll have a few days where the planets in the sky are squaring the planets in your chart and you're feeling like crap. But this too shall pass. I actually saw a funny meme today that said, "This too shall pass. It may pass like a kidney stone, but it'll pass." You might be feeling that like that. You might be like, "Okay, this too shall pass like a kidney stone." But what I've noticed about the universe is that when I'm starting to have that spell, like if the sun is squaring me, and then I hit that 2.5 days where the moon is squaring me too, then I get real moody. I get snippy. I get snappy. I get Five of Wandsy, and what it does is the universe sends you people. So what this tells me is that in the middle of the week, you might get a visit by like a Knight of Discs, a King of Discs figure. If this, maybe if this is work related, maybe you have been like toiling away at something and you get really frustrated, and then maybe a boss or if this is money related, again, maybe you've been struggling and you've been feeling this way, but you haven't really been telling anyone. And then all of a sudden, like a patriarchal figure, like it could be a father, it could be uncle, a grandfather, kind of comes in and takes care of you. I would highly watch, if you get a chance, check out the How to Tarot on the King of Pentacles, because he's such a loving energy. It's funny, I've always referred to him, actually in that video, I think we talked about that. The King of Pentacles is like that dad that, when you break down on the side of the road and you need your tire changed, he'll drive out and change your tire for you. He's the dad that comes over to your house when your toilet's not working, and he's very practical. And, when you talk about like the 5 love languages, his love language is acts of service. He's not real emotionally demonstrative, but if you're in a financial bind, he'll come through for you. But what I'm kind of getting is I am almost getting like a boss kind of feel. Like, if you do work with money, it's almost like you're burning out and feeling like a peon, and then by the middle of the week, it's almost like the cavalry runs in, like the head of your department, or whomever it is that you report to, like your boss comes in and says, "Well, I see you seem really burnt out. Are you okay?" And maybe he either brings in the systems that are going to give you relief. The other thing that I can see is that maybe with all this hard work, maybe you got some kind of bonus, it being the middle of the week, if you get paid on a Wednesday or a Thursday. Either that, or possibly if you are frustrated in other areas of your life, you might turn to a father figure. Like maybe you call your father, call your grandfather, call your uncle, maybe they call you. And again, maybe they think, it's funny, the discs, the pentacles aren't real. I don't consider them so much psychic. Like if you get a call from the King of Cups or the Queen of Cups, that's the moment, I always think of that. It's like when my mom, when my mom texts me and out of the blue and she's like, "It's been a few days, are you okay?" And she always knows when it's like, when I'm at the end of my rope, right? The King of Pentacles isn't so much psychic like that, but what I would say is that he does notice the details. So what I would say is that he's probably writing in after seeing, something, like maybe you post something on social media and he kind of notices, or, maybe you needed to pay your electric bill and it's a few days late and he notices and he's like, "Hey, I noticed this. Is everything okay?" But he's not real expressive, but the other thing that I kind of get is that by talking to this person, you're going to feel a lot better. He's kind of going to give you a renewed strength. It's like the rock you can lean on. So if this is a father figure, the other thing is that if this is your energy, you're going to have a real turnaround by the middle of the week. Maybe your week started off a little bit busy, and then by the middle of the week it starts to slow down where you can actually feel like you're in control of things again. And what I'm noticing here is, oh wow, guys, look at this. Because you see there's grass here, and it's all gray and black. And here you actually see sunlight in the same grass. So if this is your energy, maybe by the middle of the week, things will you might start getting caught up where you actually feel like you're in a position of leadership again. You're not feeling like like it's the dirge. You're feeling like you're in authority again. The other thing is that maybe something happens. Maybe it is really crazy by the beginning of the week and something shifts, you know. Maybe work starts getting delegated where you can actually feel like you're the person in charge. The other thing that this might relate to is that if you are the boss, maybe it's a team thing where you're feeling so inundated, or maybe there is some bickering between people, and then by the middle of the week you feel like everything is back in, either that, or if this is overtime related, that you can actually offer incentive, or you feel more fiscally, you feel more secure, you feel more solid. Now, by the end of the week, you got Temperance. And this is really amazing, guys, because temperance is about balancing of two energies, right? It's balancing it's recalibration. It's recalibration. So what I'm kind of sensing is that I am seeing two extremes here. I'm seeing a lot of, fighting and frustration, and then I'm seeing a lot of, the powers that be, the man in charge. The other thing is this person's real steady. The Knight of Discs is that real level-headed boss. He doesn't lose his cool, right? And maybe that's you. Maybe things have been chaotic, and then by the middle of the week you finally feel like you're in control, where you're not losing your cool. Like, beginning of the week you might have started to feel a little afraid, and then like frustrated to the point of snapping at someone. But then things start to calm down a little bit, you're in control, and then you're back to cool, calm, collected. Okay, I know what to do, I know how to handle this, no worries. And that's kingly energy, and you can be a woman in that energy. But definitely by the end of the week, it's almost like you're balancing your emotions again. But the Temperance being a major arcana, I do get a sense that it's almost like you're coming back into balance as to what you want. If this is a job or home thing, you're going to be thinking a lot about, like, okay, that was a bad patch, right? That was a bad patch. I was not, I should not be feeling like a pigeon. I should not, that's not good feelings. That should not happen. And it's almost like you're deciding how to balance that, where that doesn't happen again. Either that, or you're really looking at it and thinking, okay, how did that, why did that come about? What are the chances of that happening again? What made that occur? And it's almost like within yourself, you're getting into a better place where you know how you want to handle it. Because especially, you flipped from, real, the other thing that I'm kind of getting from this, one other way that I can read this, is that your 3 oracle cards is you got frustrated. And then underneath it, with a lot of the same coloring, you got envious. And then you got grateful. So there's just 2 other ways I can read this real quick. One thing is that you might be toiling away at a job, and you might see somebody that's above you or in another position that might be making more money than you are. Either that, or you feel like what you're doing is burdensome. Like you feel stuck, like right here you're in gridlock traffic, right? You're not going anywhere, right? That's 5 of Wands energy. Okay, I'm not going anywhere. Your feet are stuck. I'm not moving. We're not moving. And the root of this energy is being envious, and also grateful. So what I always say, it's funny, there's been times in my life when the day is either going really slow, or something happens, and I get frustrated. It's like, why aren't we moving? Why aren't we moving? But that's usually a call to stop and look around, right? Maybe this frustration is an opportunity to make an operating system better. Maybe this fight or this argument is a good reason to have a heart-to-heart conversation with your spouse, or with your girlfriend or boyfriend. So a lot of times what it can be is, it can be an opportunity. And then, like you said, if you handle it with like a patient demeanor, if you work through what's wrong and don't lose your cool, then you can recalibrate this, right? It's almost like this could be a blessing in disguise. So that's almost what I'm kind of seeing here is that now the other way that I kind of read it is that the Five of Wands can be competition in a romantic sense. Maybe you see somebody have something that you don't have, like it could be a job or it could be a position that you want. But envious, and especially in this card, it definitely looks a little bit more romantic. So one other way that we can read it is that if this is love kind of related in the beginning of the week, it's almost like you're feeling like somebody is in competition with you, but you're not moving fast enough, or you can't move fast enough to be equal competition to what's coming at you, and it's making you feel a little bit jealous. But by the end of the week, I think by the middle of the week, you do get into that energy of realizing what you contribute, and that, you're not a pigeon, you're a king of pentacles. Either that, or, maybe you have a conversation with someone that makes you feel better about where you're at, and you can feel grateful for where you are, right? Instead of feeling jealous, again, this could be jealous of something that someone else has that you feel like you don't, like, again, I'm getting a strong sense of status here. Because there's a disparity of status here. But I think by the end of the week, you're gonna view the frustration in a better light. Like you'll see the obstacle as an opportunity, and you can use it. You can use it to because maybe what would happen is if you work through the problems that you're faced with, you'll get credit for working through it, and then that will give you an opportunity to rise to the position that you want. Either that, or the last way that I kind of read this is that delay is not a bad thing. Sometimes the universe purposely puts obstacles in your path because otherwise you would race towards something that you're not ready to take on. So, but with envious and grateful, I do get a sense that by the end of the week, you're going to realize what this delay was about, and you're going to see this frustration in a new light. But in the beginning of the week, you are definitely going to feel like you're going to be feeling like you're losing your cool a little bit. But it almost helps flesh out your character. It helps teach you what to do next time. And by the end of the week, you're going to feel really in balance. The other thing is that the one last thing, I'm sorry, just to throw it out there, is that maybe you are going to face some kind of situation, and it is really advised that you don't say anything bad, because you might have some envy underneath the surface, and you don't want to show that to anyone. You want to keep your cool. And I think what it's telling you is that the other thing is with grain, and we're close here in North America. We're very close to Thanksgiving, so when I think of grain, or when I see like a fall image like that, I think of gratitude. But I think one other way I can read this is that maybe you were faced with a really amazingly frustrated situation, and instead of popping off at the mouth or doing anything impulsive, you kept your cool, and then by the middle of the week you got everything back under control, and then by the end of the week you're like, oh, thank God I did not say what I was thinking at the beginning of the week, because if I had said what I was thinking, it's almost like the situation is gonna shake out. The situation's gonna shake out, but try not to freak out, because if you freak out, you might reveal something that might turn out to be embarrassing, or might not be. I keep hearing from like Princess Bride, what you think is not what you think is. Just keep your cool. If you need to talk to someone, talk to a king, the King of Pentacles, and everything will balance out. Everything will recalibrate. And you'll be real thankful, grateful that you took the right action. All right, guys, so that's your week. Deck number 2. Let's move on. Last but not least, we got deck number 3. It's The Art of Tarot by Liz Dean. And this is, just to reiterate, this is what we call a pip deck. That means the minors. It's, it's just cups, just swords. There's not any pictures. As I mentioned in the intro, if you want to listen to a kind of cool brief history on the Rider-Waite-Smith. I was just thinking, Pamela Coleman Smith actually was probably one of the first people to illustrate all of the minors. And, that's why her work is so acclaimed as well. And that's, probably why we're so good at reading cards the way that we are, is because of her artwork. But, that's the difference between pib decks and like the other tarot. But, all right, so beginning of the week, please. Okay, and middle of the week, please. End of the week. Okay, quite a few pages popping out here. So let's go ahead and get your mixed emotions card. What is our theme? Thank you. Oh, wow, guys. So, beginning of the week, this is quite interesting. What I'm seeing is beginning of the week, we have the Page of Cups and we have the King of Wands. And the court cards are really quite beautiful. That's one reason I do really like this deck, is that the court cards and majors are very, very well illustrated. I like them. Beginning of the week, you are either going to get a message, like you're going to get some kind of emotional message from a King of Wands character. Like, if you're a woman watching this, it'd be a man who's really quite fiery in nature. It could be a boyfriend or a spouse. It could be a father. But it's definitely going to be some kind of little emotional gesture. It's not going to be anything real big. I don't think it's going to be a text or anything. Well, in this digital age, everything is a text. But if it is a text message or a DM or something like that, it's going to really, it's really going to express a real sentimentality. Like, it's going to be this really sweet little connection. Like, I like to see, whenever I see the Page of Cups, I kind of think of someone making kind of an inside joke, that, not even a joke, but like something that, like it might refer to a memory that was really sweet and special to both of you. Either that, or someone knows what you like emotionally, and then they mention something to get you to smile. I see the Page of Cups as being that little smile. And actually this card really reflects that, because look at the little expression. He's looking down at the cup, and he's just kind of got this little like private little grin, like, what it, if someone else were to read the message, they wouldn't get it. Like, well, okay, what does that mean? But it means a lot to you, and it's just a little message. It's a little warm and fuzzy. Right? The other thing that I kind of get from that, the reason that I think that it might be like a message, is because when you look at the cape, there's writing, and that's what I love about this deck, is it's very multimedia. You see there's type, like words, and same thing in the red. And what it is blue represents the throat chakra, represents speech, and which is very interesting to see that on the King of Wands. And then red represents action, and like passion, like heartfelt heart, like blood, like a beating heart. So I do think that, you're going to have a masculine kind of reach out to you. The other thing that I'm seeing here is that if this is related to a child might be spending time with the King of Wands. It could be their father or their grandfather. Maybe it's just, maybe it's your child having like a real special moment occurs between them and their dad, sometime on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And but I do get a sense that I'm getting a strong sense of something spoken from this king, and it being a heartwarming and again, very small, but emotional. Like it touches on sentimentality. But that's a real beautiful energy for the beginning of the week. The other thing is that the King of Wands is such a warm character. So if a King of Wands does reach out to you or has a moment with your child, that's always a real special thing. That's just, it's again, that would be something that's very memorable, something very, it's meaningful. I'm sorry, it took a long time to get to that. Meaningful. Now, by the middle of the week, this is really interesting, guys. We have a lot of contradictory energy here. We've got the Four of Swords as the root, but then we've got the Knight of Swords as the action. So what that tells me is in the middle of the week, it's almost like you're going to have like a real strong overture. Like you're going to have a brief pause. It's almost like you're going to pause to think about something for a minute. Sorry for the background noise. Oh my gosh. Dude. But it's almost like you're going to kind of go to your corner for a minute to kind of breathe, or maybe, and again, this being the middle of the week, I always like to see the Four Swords is almost like that brief kind of decompression time. Maybe you had a night to watch your favorite movie. Like maybe if you're working, you come home, you clock out, and you really do nothing for a night because you needed a break. But then the moment that break is over, you're ready to race in and communicate something. So quite honestly, this could be work related. What it's kind of saying is that the Knight of Swords, he does not mince words. He races in and is like, boom, communication. I always think of him as the Paul Revere card. Like he comes running through the village like the British are coming, the British are coming. Like he has to communicate things to people. So this tells me one of two things. Possibly you might have something important that you have to communicate to others. Like quite possibly, maybe if you have some kind of new update to a computer system, maybe something really urgent comes over the router's wire at work and you communicate it to everyone. Maybe there's some kind of new workaround or something that you have to, go around to everyone and say, here, do it this way, here, do it this way. That's Swords energy. You're on a mission. You're not delegating anything. You are the person hopping on the horse to go tell people this. But what it's telling me is that you almost have to kind of take a little bit of a break before you hop on your horse. So that tells me one of two things. Either you're waiting for the final green light, like you're waiting for them to say, yes, okay, go ahead, run around and tell everyone this. Either that or you really, there's something that you have to tell to someone, or there's something that someone really has to tell to you, and they had been holding off on it because they needed a moment to breathe before they hopped on the horse. So I'm sorry that you could have someone rushing up to you after a period of them being kind of quiet, and them being like, guess what happened, da 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 da. And you're like, dude, where's all this energy coming from? And it's because they needed a moment to rest before they hopped on the horse to come tell you. If this is your energy, I'm getting the sense like you almost need a moment to breathe, or you're kind of waiting for the go ahead. But then the moment that your 10 minutes of decompression is over, you're ready to hop on the horse and go communicate to someone. But I am getting a real midweek kind of energy. The other thing that I'm almost kind of getting here is that maybe at the end of Tuesday you got some kind of word that says, oh, okay, everybody's got to know about this, by Thursday. And what you said is, you said, okay, it's 5:00 on a Tuesday. I could stay late and do this, but we're going to let this rest. We're going to let this sleep just for tonight. First thing tomorrow, I'll hop on the horse, right? The horse is ready to go, but let's let this breathe. So this could be you pacing yourself. That's the other thing I kind of get from this. You might be pacing yourself a little bit. And this is a good thing, because if you've watched the How to Tarot on the Four of Swords, giving yourself a break, utilizing those downtimes is not a bad thing. Of course, if it's a time sensitive thing, take that into consideration. But, the other thing that I'm kind of getting is that the knight is kind of a young energy, but it's not a page. I don't think that you're being irresponsible. The other thing that I kind of get is that possibly if you've been really busy, if the schedule's been a little bit packed, you might be feeling a little worn out, and it behooves you, right? It's beneficial for you to take that, say, okay, let's let this sleep. Let me just put this on pause just for tonight. I'll get right back to it. And it's a little bit, I'm getting a stop, go, stop, go, stop, go. But those stops are really important for you to charge your batteries, right? Have you ever seen those, like if you've ever driven a Prius, how when you hit the brakes, the energy generates back, and it's almost like the friction of the car stopping puts more charge back into the battery. It almost like, amps it up. That's what I'm kind of getting here. You're trying to control when you stop and start, so you have enough energy to Paul Revere it the next morning, if that makes any sense. And then by the end of the week, wow, guys, you got the Ten of Wands. Ten of Wands, yeah, I'm definitely getting a sense that you're really working hard. You're working hard. The other thing is I'm getting a lot of action and a lot of communication. So, quite honestly, I'll be honest, guys, it really does look like some kind of project launches sometime in the middle of the week, maybe Wednesday, Thursday. And again, it's almost like that lull right before the green light. The other thing that I'm kind of getting is I'm getting almost like a race. You know how like when all the horses are lined up and then they're like 3, 2, 1, okay, go, Um, maybe maybe you received training on something, and then it's like, okay, day one is here, and you're at the starting gate. Because the other thing that's important about the Four of Swords is utilizing the time, right? If something isn't in play until the next day, try to rest when you can, because the moment it is in play, you're going to get tired. So if there's nothing you can do about it right now, it doesn't, the green light isn't until tomorrow, try to utilize that time to rest. It also might be telling you to get a good night's rest. Maybe get the solid 8 hours of sleep. Try not to burn the midnight oil unnecessarily on Wednesday and Thursday night. Because quite honestly, on Friday, sorry, glasses girl, on Friday you got the Ten of Wands. And what's interesting is you see this image, it looks like a splay, right? It almost looks like a display, or you've seen, when you see those water shows, it's like sprinklers, but they're wands. But the Ten of Wands are those 10 wands that you're carrying you're going to be, I think you're going to be taking on a lot by the end of the week. The other thing that I'm kind of getting here is that you could quite be, I'm getting a sense of you taking the brunt of something, like maybe something that results from this Knight of Swords. You could be helping others through your communication, but it's going to be you taking on the lion's share. Like you're going to be doing more than the lion's share. You're going to be doing possibly your job and helping others. I don't think that you're doing the job of others, but you might be helping others to take a rod off their plate, but then it's 10 rods that you have to carry. So by the end of the week, you are going to feel a little taxed. You're going to be pretty tired. Now, the card that you got is really interesting. You got receptive. And it was open, accepting, welcoming. Now, another card that tried to pop out twice, and I'm just going to go ahead and it was a weird one. Again, some of these, but it was disgusted. But not in the sense that I don't think anybody's making you feel like repulsed or anything. But what I kind of get from that is I'm just getting I get it like a resistance, like something about a situation is making you feel a little bit repelled. There we go. That's a good word. It's making you feel repelled. So it's quite possible that, maybe, Well, I really think the receptive is more this sweet connection that you have in the beginning of the week. I do get a sense there's going to be a moment here. And you know what I'm thinking is I keep seeing this woman's hands, with the water and the flowers. Um, I'm seeing a scene of like dry earth when it starts to rain. It's almost like, this feels like water on dry earth. It feels so nourishing, whatever this connection is. And again, this could be you observing a connection. Like maybe your child has a really sweet moment with their father or with their grandfather, or that you observe. If this is your energy, maybe you have a really sweet moment with a child. But if you're a woman watching this, this would be a man who's approaching you either via text or something, but it's going to be this little message that makes you feel real connected, and it does. It feels rejuvenating, like that receptive energy. Now, disgusted, I don't think is related to the beginning of the week. Because the green in this is very similar to the Ten of Wands. I don't think it's a bad thing. I just think that you know how when you have to do something that you don't want to do, like taking out the trash, right? It's kind of like that. It's kind of like, this stinks. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. Maybe there is something at the end of the week that feels burdensome. And it's funny, a few videos ago, there's a really great exercise that talks about like when you're feeling overwhelmed or if you're feeling frustrated, if you make like a list, if you go ahead and make a list of all the activities that you do, and then pull out 3 markers like a stoplight, red, yellow, and green. The red activities would be those real repelling ones, like taking out the trash. It'd be put a red dot next to the things that you absolutely dread, don't like doing. Then go ahead and put yellow dots next to those activities of I could do it. I don't really feel like it. I'm not, thrilled, but I'll do it. I can do it. Put little yellow dots there. And anything that you really like to do or you look forward to doing or that you really, makes you feel good, go ahead and put green dots there. And then what you want to do is you want to try to cut down on all the red dots. Try to cut the yellow dots in half. And then try to, and of course we can't all be green, but if it is, if something is making you feel, like 2 opposite magnets, like, okay, the moment I go to do this, I feel like I just want to go the other direction. Try to make note of that, because you don't want to consistently do that, but you might get exposed to a lot more of those yellow and red activities at the end of the week, and try to make note of them, so as you move forward you can try to make changes to it. I do get a sense that there's something particular about this week that I do think it'll get easier as you go, but something about the end of this week, it's going to kind of come to a head, but you're going to be okay. Anytime you see the 10 of Wands, it's always about pacing yourself. It also, 10 is the culmination, meaning it's the end of the cycle. So possibly by Monday, this challenge will be gone. But you're just going to be really feeling it. It's almost like you can't really wrap up your Friday in a pretty bow. Maybe you have to work the weekend, or, there's just added work that you have to kind of slog through. But take care of yourself. Try to take care of yourself. And again, if it's helpful, if you are doing some kind of activity that you feel, the other thing is that with the 10 of Wands, half the reason that the 10 of Wands feels so overwhelming is if it's really something you don't like doing, that's when you're going to resist. And when you resist, that's when the Wands feel that much more heavier. So it might not even be that you have more activity. It's just you got activity that you really don't enjoy, and that's what's making it feel like the dirge. So take care of yourself at the end of the week. In the beginning of the week, you're going to have a real beautiful moment, And if it's a moment, I'm sorry, I'm such a scrapbooker, but, if it's a moment that, you can take a picture, but this connection here is going to be really beautiful. And honestly, the volcanic quartz is kind of a love stone. So the fact that you chose that is really beautiful, guys. But all right, so that's your week. I think all 3 weeks were really good. I'm very happy for you. We've got, the other thing is we're some hardworking people. I feel like all of us are, whether it's home, family, work, um, please, if you get a chance to check out, we did post the tarot deck collection video, the history of Rider-Waite-Smith, according to me. I am not an official historian, but those were the opinions I shared in that video are the exact reasons why I chose the Rider-Waite-Smith deck that I did, and actually, there was some great information because starting in 2021, there's going to be some major publishing changes with that deck, so that might be something, if you feel like watching it. If you like any of the tarot decks that I use, please check out the deck review because I show you all 18 of them. So if there's a deck that you like, I know, seeing more cards from it and talking about it, especially this time of year before the holidays, it really helps. But I hope that you have a good week, and if you're so inclined, please join me on Tuesday for the How to Tarot, and I'll catch you later. Bye.